All right, looks like we are live. Let's go ahead and give everybody a minute to join in on the fun here before we get started on the conversation. Let everyone hop in here. Give this a retweet on X. So Jason will be joining us soon here. Wait for everyone to hop in. All right, give it another, what do you think? Another 10, 15 seconds and we'll get going? No, we'll give it another minute. We'll give it another 30 seconds. I said 7:30. The actual dialogue begins at 7:31. That's just how it goes.
That's fair.
You know, they said 4:05 today for first pitch. It was 4:07. So
we're allowed at least.
We're allowed. I think a minute is more than reasonable.
It's warranted.
Yes. So.
I mean, we got a lot to get into.
All right. Yeah, we're piling up some viewers here. So yeah, we'll give it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's get started. What's up, everybody? Noah Hiles, Andrew Destin here from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Jason Mackey, our columnist, is on the phone right now, but he'll be back here joining us whenever during this stream. Obviously, rain delay right now here on the North Shore. Paul Skenes' debut. Andrew, it was good for a little bit, and then the fifth inning happened, and it all went downhill real quick. I guess we'll start off with just me asking you, for your original, your instant thoughts on everything. Let's just start with the beginning. What did you think for the first 4 innings, or just in general for Paul Skenes?
Yeah, I mean, let's start there. Yeah, the first 4 from Paul. I mean, he looked excellent, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he showed you his whole arsenal. Certainly relied most heavily on the 3 pitches he throws the most, in the fastball, the splinter, and the slider. Thought the slider, I mean, that was really impressive. Seiya Suzuki, the one where he whiffed and nearly fell down over the plate. That was fun. So you saw instantly, I mean, this guy's stuff, right? It's great. I mean, you saw it instantly, and we got Jason Mackey joining us now. We're just getting started here.
Yeah, we're like a minute in.
Yeah.
All right. I had a couple of phone interviews.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think you saw certainly what he's capable of. I mean, you got to remember how young a guy this is, fresh out of college, one of the quickest number 1 overall picks ever to get here, and he certainly looked the part. Obviously, there's going to be growing pains, getting deep in counts, but I mean, come on, he struck out 7. I thought he really impressed. By no means perfect, but a lot to be excited about.
Before I ask Jason for his comments, I got to tell Jason about a place that I know he loves, which is the North Shore Tavern. This stream is brought to you by the North Shore Tavern. If you love baseball, you'll love the North Shore Tavern. The interior is wall-to-wall Pirates. There are appetizers, entrees, cocktails, and of course, steak and seafood on a sizzling lava stone. Open every day. North Shore Tavern is right across the street from PNC Park, and it is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. Not gonna lie, fellas, kind of wish I was at North Shore Tavern right now, rather than
we can make it.
We can head back there. We can get in and out as much as we want with these things. Yeah, But Jason, I mean, your overall first thoughts on Paul Skenes' debut?
Yeah, I mean, the actual baseball stuff, I think it's about what I expected. Yeah. When we talk to Paul after this, he's probably going to bemoan not being a little bit more pitch efficient. Using 84 pitches to get through 4+, but the strikeout stuff was there. The velocity was there. We saw the splinter, which is gaining steam, and it's just fun to say splinter.
It is.
But that's what I expected from Paul. It was extremely good. One thing I was struck by, guys, I don't know how much you got around the ballpark earlier, but that was kind of my assignment, right, for A1. I was just walking out in left field and watching how fans embraced him and how Paul handled it. It was just such a cool vibe in the park.
It was.
Like, during the game, yes, that was a lot of fun. But before the game, how people are sort of receiving Skenes, how they feel about Skenes. I was not here. I was watching Garrett Cole's debut in 2013 on TV. I watched Steven Strasburg's on TV in 2020 or 2010. But, man, the environment here today is pretty electric.
It was really cool. The moment that stuck out to me was just the anticipation when he got Bellinger in the 0-2 count.
Yeah.
Because when he struck out his first 2 hitters and then quickly got ahead against Bellinger, and it just felt like the bottom of the 9th in a must-win game, just with the anticipation behind every pitch. And while he ended up walking Bellinger, just the pop of the crowd when he got the fly out the next at bat, it was a lot of fun. Final line for Skenes, and we'll get to some of these runs here as we mention them. 4 complete innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. 4 of those strikeouts came with the fastball. 1 home run allowed. He threw 84 pitches, 84 pitches, 54 for strikes, 17 pitches over 100 miles an hour. 16 of that 17 came in the first 2 innings, which is a best of all baseball this season. But guys, like I mentioned, the 3 earned runs.
Oh boy.
So the first one was a solo homer, and he responded well. I thought off of that. He gets a strikeout and then allows a single and gets another strikeout, gets out of it. I think he had 74 pitches heading into the top of the 5th inning. The top of the 5th inning is quite literally where it all fell apart for Skenes, for Pirates fans, for the weather, just all of it. He goes back out there, and at that point in time, guys, I thought, wow, like this is going so much in Pittsburgh's favor. It's kind of overwhelming. They got run support. They didn't give him the early hook. They let him to try to go back out there for a 5th, get that win, which looked to be well in hand at that point. And then he allows the 2 hits. They pull him, and enter Kyle Nicholas.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
What goes up must come down.
Jason, you've been covering this team for how long?
Too long. I mean, May of 2019.
Okay,
so
May of 2019, and then you've been watching baseball. I'd assume for most of your life you played it collegiately.
Yep.
Have you ever seen what transpired in the 5th inning? Which is still going on, by the way.
I mean, I saw it on Major League.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's the only comparable I had. Ball 4, ball 8, ball 12. How can hitters lay off pitches this good?
Yeah.
I don't understand what we watched, guys. I mean, not only Kyle Nicholas' inability to throw strikes, but also like leaving him in.
Yep.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I understand you have to like react to it at some point. I wish I would have written down exactly who was throwing and when they stopped. But I'm sorry, somebody was remotely hot. You could have gotten somebody up there. Like after the hit batter and the walk, I'm making a phone call and saying like, get me somebody. And then mound visit from somebody, send Yasmani Grandal out there. Whatever, you know, I'm just surprised there was no mound visit, if I'm not mistaken.
No mound visit.
Grandal never came out there. I don't know if I wish I had more to it. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I guess.
What about you guys?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I guess we'll have more answers post game, perhaps about it. But I mean, Luis Ortiz in the 4th inning started getting loose.
That's what I wanted you to point out.
Yeah.
We both looked. Or Andrew brings the binoculars. I said, who is that stretching there? And it was Kyle and Luis.
Yep.
And for there not to be a mound visit is appalling, and for you to bring in someone else who wasn't warming up prior to that was another head scratcher.
Yeah, haven't seen that one before. Especially like you said. I mean, Fleming wasn't getting loose until I believe, if I have this correct, it was after the first walk is when Fleming started getting loose. So he had to really ramp it up within the span of 8 pitches, if I have that correctly. So that was quite quick. And that's
I mean, they're paid to do that.
Sure.
That should be enough.
Yeah, that should be enough.
When you come into the game.
You could have given him more time with a mound visit.
That would help.
Exactly. That's why you stall.
Yeah.
That's why you send the pitching coach out there.
Yeah.
That's what befuddled me. And that buys you another 8 pitches or something if you're working fast.
Yeah, and it's one thing also if, and this is no disservice to Henry Davis, but it's one thing if he's catching back there and he's never been in a big league setting like this where a pitcher is really, really struggling. Mike Grandal has been doing this for a decade. You'd think that would be something that enters the mind of, hey, like, let's slow down the game. Let's let's corral this young pitcher who's in his rookie year. And Kyle Nicholas, to all of you watching, I'm sure many of you are familiar with this, is a guy who struggled with his command in the minor leagues.
Right.
Some breaking news here, real quick. Sorry, Andrew. Game is expected to resume at approximately 8 p.m.
All right, so we'll go for like another 10 minutes.
Yeah,
I think. All right. Nicholas struggles. They bring in Fleming, who walks another. So that makes it 6-5. And at this point, mind you, while all of this is going on, the Pirates just need one more out. And this is an official game. And this could have been over, and then Skenes would have been the winning pitcher had that been the case, right?
No, because he didn't go. He wouldn't have gone 5.
Oh, so it would have been It would have been Nicholas, which ironically. But
assuming that helped.
Yes. So they don't get the one run. An infield single ties it at 6, and then the rain comes down, which I don't know what time that approximately started.
5:41.
5:41. So we're going close to 2 hours now of a delay. And I mean, I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not gonna be able to predict what happens here, but I will say, I mean, something that was so overwhelmingly positive has now become so negative, and it's been marinating for 2 hours now, guys. It's it's a daunting task what the Pirates have when this game restarts with the bases loaded, 2 outs after they've just walked a million batters, and now you've blown a 5-run lead, and you know how hard runs are to come by for this team that's been struggling to score. They just played at 6 and what 4 frames. I don't know. It's looking doom and gloom right now.
Well, here's a question I have for both of you. I'm not terribly well versed on these rules. So a pitcher has to face 3 batters. Josh Fleming has only faced 2. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So he must throw after the rain delay, or is that the rain delay?
I wonder if there's some sort of clause.
Yeah.
There has to be.
I'd
Right?
be willing to bet he doesn't have to come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who does start, if you had to guess? Ortiz?
After the delay, probably Ortiz.
Yeah.
That's a good bet.
So overall, I mean, how do you grade Skenes' debut for him? I mean, because the final line doesn't read probably as good as he honestly was.
Right.
I mean, he's got a 6.75 ERA. The efficiency wasn't there, but overall, I mean, I thought he looked pretty strong. Just it shouldn't have been 3 earned runs for him, probably.
No.
So what grade would you give it?
B plus.
Yeah. B. Yeah.
I feel like
I have a tough time giving it an A because of
Yeah.
the 4 innings. Like, you give up a home run. He went single, double in the 5th, I want to say, and then didn't stick around any longer. I mean, I don't know if that's being too harsh, but I just have a tough time going into an A with only 4 innings and 3 runs earned.
Yeah.
Regardless, like that's what the line says.
I'll go B minus. I mean, he was given an opportunity to go back out there for the 5th, and he let a couple guys get on base. I mean, the stuff is electric, and I anticipate him being better moving forward. But I do think a product of it was he knew later in that outing that his pitch count was getting high.
Yeah.
And I think that when you put that on a 21-year-old who knows the whole world is watching, you might press a little bit, and that might lead you to leave something over the plate. And the Cubs they've got a decent lineup. They're going to take advantage of that.
I really hope. I mean, well, I guess it doesn't matter. But the Pirates should hope, coming out of this rain delay, that something positive happens. Because if they end up losing this because of the walks and what happened in the 5th inning, my goodness, like that's just a shame to waste 3 home runs. How often did we would have to look that one up? It's been a long time since they've had 3 home runs in a game. I feel like you get 3 home runs, Paul Skenes' debut, and you can't win it because you've got 4 consecutive walks.
Yeah.
3 of them 4 pitch walks. I think they were all great. It's going to cause a lot of fury among the fans.
We've got 7 minutes left here. I think we should talk a little bit about some of the news that occurred before Paul Skenes took the mound. We'll start in order. We found out first that Brian Hayes was heading to the IL. 3rd straight year he has seen time on the IL because of back injuries. Obviously, this is one of a handful of guys that is viewed as a cornerstone of the franchise and was paid according to that view, getting a big-time extension, the first of the big extensions that were handed out in recent years. Jason, just your impression on this news.
Yeah, I mean, somebody his age shouldn't be dealing with recurring back issues the way he is. Whether you need to sort of curtail a pregame workout plan, how much he does, and I think it's admirable. I think Brian does a lot of stuff that you really, really like and respect, but I wonder how much is too much. And I thought he was better last year when they gave him a little bit more rest, and that really hasn't been the case this year. Mm-hmm. Whether that's, putting him in the DH spot for a half day off or whatever, but to me, it shouldn't be happening. I wonder how much of that has to do with kind of his slow start to the season, and take 10 days, get it in check, but this can't keep happening.
No, and at one point, just to bring up too on that is, with the back, these issues, like we've all talked about how they're recurring. I mean, he told us at the Post-Gazette that, he tweaked it on the off day. That's when it started.
What was he doing on the off day?
Well, I think that's exactly it, is that he's not treating it. Yeah. I think that's the problem, is that if he's not so attentive to it on a daily basis, and again, that's speculation on my part, but when he's here at the ballpark getting that kind of treatment, getting that daily care on it, that's when he's most on top of it. But it's certainly concerning. You hope for his sake, for the Pirates' sake, it's just the 10-day stint there. But 3 years in a row. You wonder exactly how he deals with this. I know he's taken steps to be able to better manage it, but it's certainly concerning. There's no way around it.
Yeah, and it just seems at this point where this is going to be part of it.
Yeah.
It's like when you sign a power hitter you kind of accept the fact that it's like, hey, strikeouts are a part of it. Like with Cabryan, you get arguably the game's best defender, but you've got to come to grips with the fact that there's going to be some point in the season where he's going to have to see time on the IL because of the back. It's not good. We'll move over to the other notable news bulletin, whatever it is, whatever you call it. No. Roansy Contreras in perhaps an ironic fashion. I mean, everyone talks about the duo of Jones and Skenes and what they could be. Not long ago, we were talking about the potential that the duo of Mitch Keller and Roansy Contreras had. And one of them realized that potential in the form of a big-time contract extension, right? But the other has been designated for assignment, a former top 100 prospect in all of baseball, arguably the most attractive trade return in the Ben Cherington era. This was a guy who was supposed to be part of the core that brought winning baseball back to the North Shore. Andrew, just your impression on Roansy getting DFA'd today.
Yeah, I mean, my mind goes to so many different places. One of which being, the last time I saw him personally last year pitch in person was July 5th against the Dodgers when he served up 2 home runs. And after that, I wondered if we'd see him again pitch in a Pirates uniform. And we did this year, right? He's made the team out of camp in the bullpen without any options left. In the bullpen, it was really, truly, for lack of better phrasing, a mixed bag. But it's just crazy to look back at, the glimmers of it in 2021, in 2022, how he had so many good starts and then shut down to preserve the arm, right? Taking care of the guy. And it's just crazy to see it come to the conclusion because I never saw this coming with Roe. The velocity dropped down in 23 where it's down to 93, 94. It was back up this year, but it was never really consistent. Never really developed that third pitch to pair with the slider and the fastball. So, I have to imagine somebody is going to take a flyer on him, whether that's making a trade with the Pirates or they'll just wait till he can be claimed off waivers. But certainly a little bit surprised by the news, but I guess it was inevitable. I guess this was coming.
I want to make a point actually tying this back to the former regime. When Derek Shelton, Ben Cherington, Travis Williams took over, a big criticism of the Pirates was that they were unable to get guys to complete their development at the major league level. Tyler Glasnow, Austin Meadows are 2 examples of that. They made poor trades, but part of that was not realizing what they had. Well, Roansy Contreras, to me, is a case of a guy that you needed to help develop at the major league level. They haven't done that. They haven't completed his development. Now they DFA, and they're probably going to lose him. And we're seeing other guys. Henry Davis, can they complete his development at the major league level? Jared Triolo, other guys.
Nick Gonzalez.
I don't know. It's not looking good. Jack Sawinski even. And at the same time, a criticism was levied and something that this group sat in this very stage and talked about, that we're not going to boilerplate an approach. We're going to have a player-centric culture, and we're going to meet players where they are and allow them to be individuals. Well, right now we're looking at an offense that has had a boilerplate approach.
Yeah.
That they're all taking pitches. They're doing exactly what the former regime did. I don't like it. It's scary. They said the right things. Early on, I think they did the right things. But you're not developing young talent, which is essential for this organization to flourish. And you do need to meet players where they are. Other teams are doing that. You need to bring the best out of individual guys. And I'm not saying, just blanket answer, everything stinks. But you can look at this group right now and levy a fair criticism that they haven't gotten enough out of their young players. It's still early, but it right now worries me.
My final thought as we conclude this live stream is this. Cherington talked about when we asked him what led to Roansy being DFA'd. He said we considered all options, and the alternatives wouldn't make this team a better ball club. And that's why they had to let him go. And if that's the way they're thinking now, could there be other moves coming?
Yeah,
because
I thought that was interesting.
You could argue that there are other players who fit that billing, where it's maybe they're just hanging on to him for one last series, one last week, one last road trip or homestand, hoping to see a glimpse. And I don't think we even need to name the names. If you've watched this team this year, you know who that could be. The guys that either are right on the fence, in my opinion, of being DFA'd, being sent down to AAA, or just being released. I mean, it's getting to a point where if that's the way you're going about your business, there's other moves
I mean,
like
winning
this
has
that
to
should
take
be.
the
Yeah,
priority.
yes,
That's fair.
it's getting to a point. It's no longer waiting time. It's May 11th.
Yeah.
You got to start making moves to try to, turn this ship around. So that's all we got for today. This show, as always, is brought to you by North Shore Tavern. Stop in there right across the street from PNC Park. Andrew, myself, Jason, we're there all the time. It's a great place to watch a ball game, just any sporting event,
Or the
just
NBA.
Yes, or the
I don't know if you guys know
NBA.
this.
Big time NBA fan Jason Mackey as of
3 days
as
old.
of 3 days ago. But yeah, great time to just watch some sports, just have a night out on the town. And we got to get back up to the press box. Pirates tied at 6 with the Chicago Cubs. Paul Skenes goes 4 innings, allows 3 earned runs, strikes out 7. And the game will resume here at 8 p.m. with the bases loaded, 2 outs in the top of the 5th. He's Andrew Destin. He's Jason Mackey. I'm Noah Hiles. Check out all of our work at post-gazette.com.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.